The 2020 Australian Open. The last of the big three, Rafa and Nadal, were in action this morning, and the Spaniard claimed a 3-0 victory over unseeded Bolivian Hugo Dellien. He lost his 5 games in the process. It was a straightforward win for Rafa, as you would expect at this stage of the tournament, but there was one very interesting stat that came out of the match for me, and that was Rafa winning 83% of points at the net. And over the last few years, away from clay court tournaments, he's had very little success against the likes of Djokovic and Federer. And you just wonder whether he's using a different approach this year. It certainly looked that way to me. Keeping his opponent on the run, putting them into the corners, and then really attacking the net and keeping the points short. It looked like he's preparing to use that tactic all tournament, to prepare him for facing the likes of Djokovic and Federer later on in the tournament, knowing that he'll probably likely to play them and have to beat them if he wants to win his 20th Grand Slam. So that's something interesting to follow later on this week. Fabio Fognini, the Italian, fought back from 2 sets down against the big serving American Riley Opelka. Opelka had actually opened up a 2-0 lead yesterday before the rain set in, and Fognini came back this morning and won in 3-2, smashing 4 rackets on the way, which is no surprise with Fognini. But he did win the 5-set marathon by winning a deciding tie-break. Dominic Thiem won 3-0 against the Frenchman Adrien Manarino. 36 unforced errors on the way, which has sounded a lot for Dominic, particularly this early in the tournament, but if he can cut them out, there's no reason why he can't make a big run. And I think it's a big 2020 for the Austrian. He's touching 26, 27 now, Dominic Thiem, and other than the French Open, he's never really made a big run to Grand Slam. He's obviously reached the French Open final twice against Rafa and Nadal, lost on both occasions, which is no disgrace, knowing Rafa's record at Roland Garros. But if Dominic wants to be recognised as one of the best and break into the top 3 or 4, he does have to start winning slams at some point in his career, and perhaps this is his year. Someone that has won Grand Slams in the past, Stan Wawrinka, won 3 of them of course, won this title back in 2014, beating Nadal in 4 sets in the final. I managed to watch Stan this morning and I was massively impressed by his performance, serving 21 aces and hitting 57 winners. He's got that wonderful single-handed backhand, great forehand, good variations and a huge serve. He looked in great nick this morning, and as we all know with Stan, if he reaches the semi-finals and the finals of tournaments, particularly Grand Slams, then he's pretty invincible. He just goes through the gears and he's got a super mentality where he just thinks he can beat anybody in the world. He always produces his best tennis at the biggest stages of tournaments, and if Stan can keep up the level of performance that he showed this morning, reach the back end of the tournament, there's no reason why he couldn't go all the way this week. Daniil Medvedev, the young Russian, many people's picks to be the outsider and win this tournament. Obviously part of that next gen that are looking to win their first Grand Slams alongside Tsitsipas and Zverev. He looked very good this morning, Daniil Medvedev. He did make a few too many unforced errors for me, but he did have a good first round opponent in the young American Francis Tiafoe. Tiafoe, just a few words on him. First 2 sets, he looked brilliant. He stuck with Medvedev, played out some of the best points of the tournament. It was a very entertaining match. And Tiafoe, he was unlucky with the first round draw. You're not going to get many harder first round draws than Daniil Medvedev. But I think over the next couple of years we'll see Tiafoe break into the top 20. He's only 22, he's got time on his side. So best of luck to him for the rest of the season. On to Medvedev. It's just what Medvedev does. He's very entertaining to watch. He's got huge ground strokes, that huge serve, and he's placed him at Djokovic on hard court. He's very quick around the court. He's got great defence, and he just makes his opponent play the extra ball all the time. And I think that wore Tiafoe down. He looked very tight towards the end of the third, and Medvedev cruised to the 4th set. But he has got a game to win any tournament. He's got that consistency now, and he's shown last year in the US Open final that he can fight. He has got that mentality to win. He didn't get over the line against Rafa, but to come back from 2 sets still down and level at 2-2, looking like you're going to win the match, but Rafa obviously used his championship experience to get over the line in that one. But Medvedev, we hope to follow that up with another great performance at this year's Grand Slam, It started well this morning, but we'll learn more about him later on in the tournament. One man I do want to mention is David Goffin, the Belgian. I managed to watch him earlier this month, beat Nadal in straight set at the ATP Cup. He's carried on that form today. His ground strokes look very, very strong, timing them brilliantly, he always does. He served very well, and he came with 3-0 victory over a tough opponent in Jeremy Chardy. Chardy always poses a threat to many players early in Grand Slams, but Goffin cruised through that match really. The Belgian, I think he can make a very big run. I think these courts are going to suit him in Australia. They're playing a bit slow, to me anyway. But he's a great rallier. He's got great variations. He likes to wear his opponent down. He's got all the shots in the book, and I think he's timing the ball very, very well, and he looks in great nick. So I'm tipping Goffin to make a big run this year in Melbourne. There were also wins for Nick Kyrgios and Alex van der Zverev today, so there's no real big upset setting the men's side of the draw, or moving on to round 2. Looking ahead to round 2, which starts later today, for me in the UK anyway. Novak Djokovic faces the Japanese player Tatsuma Ito. Obviously Djokovic did lose a set in the first round, so he'll be looking to eradicate that and get back to his best. Probably winning 3 sets you'd expect against the young inexperienced player. And Novak could actually face the British Dan Evans in the third round if Evans was to win his second round match, which should be a good tie. Evans is a very, very entertaining player to watch. He's got a super backhand, and he's playing very, very well over the last 12 months. Could pose a threat to Djokovic, but you would expect Djokovic to come through that match if they were to face each other. There's 2 very good ties coming up tomorrow in round 2. First one being Marin Cilic against Benoit Paire. I'm not sure these slow courts will suit Marin Cilic. He's obviously got that huge serve. He likes to finish the points early with his big forehand, but Benoit Paire is very good defensively. He's been playing some very good hardcore tennis of the past couple of years. He's in the top 20 now, and I think if Paire can just return well, he's very unorthodox as well. Paire likes to use his drop shots and change up the pace, and I'm not sure that'll suit Cilic. If Paire can get him moving around the court and get him running into the net, which isn't Cilic's advantage being 6'6", I think Paire will come out the winner in that one. Stefanos Tsitsipas against Philip Kohlschreiber is, I think, a great matchup. As I said about Kohlschreiber yesterday, he hasn't got the biggest wins in his career, but he's got good variations. He's got a good slice. He sticks in matches. He's got a good defense, and he works out opponents. He wears them down, but I do expect Stefanos Tsitsipas to come through that one. He's got brutal ground strokes. He's got a very good serve, and he's tipped to go very far. He obviously beat Roger Federer at this tournament last year, so he's got a lot of fans, a lot of support in Melbourne. And Tsitsipas, along with Daniil Medvedev, is one of the next gen that people are tipping to challenge the big 3 now, and perhaps even win a Grand Slam. But that's a match I'm much looking forward to. I think it'll provide a stern test for Tsitsipas, and that'll do him good. I think sometimes it's better to spend time out in court and have tough matches before facing the best. So I expect Tsitsipas to win that. I think Kohlschreiber might win a set, but Tsitsipas will come through in the end. And last but not least, Roger Federer faces Filip Krajinovic, big server, good player on hard court especially, but I do expect Roger Federer to come through that. He looked in supreme condition the other day, and as I said, I think it's important for Roger to conserve energy throughout if he's going to beat the likes of Nadal's and Djokovic's later in the tournament. At 38-year-old, his stamina isn't going to be what it was, in his prime. So he's just got to conserve as much energy as possible, win matches 3-0, stay injury free, and do what he always does: serve well, return well. And there's no reason why Roger couldn't surprise everybody, roll back the years as he almost did at Wimbledon last year, and win the match.